All right, my boys. So today we have a bit of an update for the whole Microsoft business update that Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, and Matt Booty have been public about ever since February of this year, and including adding their exclusives to both PlayStation and the Nintendo Switch, and soon to be the Nintendo Switch successor, the Nintendo Switch 2. So when I read the headline of the article that's related to Microsoft and Phil Spencer, I was a little worried because even though I haven't read it, I would assume that it would probably be some bad news. But it wouldn't be fair if I didn't read it first and then understand where it's coming from. So with all that said, let's go ahead and read the article of why Phil Spencer won't rule out any Xbox exclusives making the jump to PlayStation, including Halo. With Microsoft's multi-platform video game release strategy in full swing, some Xbox fans are wondering whether flagship exclusives such as Halo will ever make the jump to PlayStation. But according to Microsoft's gaming chief Phil Spencer, there are no red lines in its first-party lineup. Microsoft has so far used all the games released over a year ago for its multi-platform push as opposed to brand new games. But that will soon change with the release of Indiana Jones. Microsoft will launch Machine Games' hotly anticipated Xbox game on PS5 just a few months after it launches on Xbox and PC this December. It's the latest first-party Xbox game to make the jump to a rival console following the release of Obsidian's Pentiment and Grounded, Tango Gameworks' Hi-Fi Rush, and Rare Sea of Thieves earlier in 2024. In June, Microsoft announced ID Software's upcoming Doom: The Dark Ages will also launch on PS5 next year. Yeah, because for Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, both on PlayStation and Xbox, but for Doom: The Dark Ages only going to Xbox is gonna get a lot of backlash, and also wouldn't make any sense either. So it would make a lot of sense for that to go to the PS5 as well. Spencer has said Xbox's multi-platform push is in part about bringing in more money to Microsoft's gaming business, with the pressure now on to deliver following its eye-watering 69 billion acquisition of Call of Duty maker Activision Blizzard last year. "We run a business," quote, said Spencer in August. "It's definitely true inside of Microsoft. The bar is high for us in terms of delivery. We have to give back to the company because we get a level of support from the company that's just amazing, and what we're able to go do. Jesus. So I look at this, how can we make our games as strong as possible? Our platform continues to grow on console, on PC, and on cloud. It's just going to be a strategy that works for us. It's pretty clear at this point that Xbox console exclusives are no longer a priority for Microsoft's gaming business, but are there some Xbox games that are considered so sacred that will never launch on PlayStation? That being Halo. Speaking to Bloomberg, Spencer said every Xbox game is up for grabs when it comes to making the multi-platform jump. Quote, "I do not see sort of red lines in our portfolio that say thou must not," he said. Alright, so it's pretty clear that I didn't read the article, my mistake, and I will fully own up to that. So as far as I'm understanding, there's no rule or sacred boundary of what Xbox exclusive should and should not go to PlayStation as far as what I'm understanding from the words of Phil Spencer. This being said, that there's no red line that we're apparently crossing the boundary apparently for what could go to PlayStation and Nintendo Switch. And I guess with these words of I don't see any red lines of what should and what should not go, it explains very vividly that any Xbox exclusive from the past to the present or a couple years before could go to PlayStation. Okay, like the possibilities of Halo going to PlayStation is so high that it's not even funny. I mean, sure, we would make jokes that Halo's gonna go to PlayStation, but we know back then it's not gonna happen because it's part of Xbox. But with the whole multi-platform strategy, it's very possible. Like any Xbox classic, okay, from Xbox ported to PlayStation. Like I'm thinking of like Sunset Overdrive, Skate 3. I mean the whole Halo collection, really. Gears of War, that's another one. Microsoft Plane Simulator, which is another game that has been speculated that could be going to PlayStation. The Forza series, like Forza Horizon, can also potentially go to PlayStation. Senua Saga Hellblade 2 could potentially go to PlayStation. There was another game that I saw that had the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse animation that had a lot of backlash with the trailer. I'm gonna put it in the screen to show you what I'm talking about. And listen, I won't lie, okay? That like the trailer did look fun. Okay, Xbox did cook, and I will admit that as a PlayStation user. And with how social media took this multi-platform strategy business update that Phil Spencer has been public about, it took it by storm, and we all saw like the viral trend of influencers poor begging on what game they want to go to PlayStation with this whole strategy that they've been open about. And I understand that it is pretty annoying with how they use this to like make content, and I'm will admit that I was also part of those few. I made a sad excuse of a video where I made a video titled Xbox exclusives I hope to go to PlayStation. And really, I made that video to talk about why I want Ori to go to PlayStation. And also maybe Ori too, okay? Like Senua Saga, Hellblade 2, and Horizon, I only put that there because I wanted to stretch out, pause the video of why I want Ori to go to PlayStation. But really, it was just me talking about Ori to go to PlayStation and partially Party Animals 2, which is going to PlayStation. It's just that there hasn't been a trailer about it. I have made a video about it. Link in the description for the playlist is in there. And I know I sound like a broken record when I'm saying this, but with him not seeing any red lines of what game can go to PlayStation, it's really like any game you could think of that is not mentioned in this video. There's a car passing by. I lied, that was a truck. Any game you could think of, like an underrated classic, like Skate 3 or Blinks, that like the mascot that the aged poorly Twitter account has on his profile picture. With everything that's going down, okay, and really, I feel like poor beggars weren't like now realistically speaking, with the word being set out from Phil Spencer, the poor beggars weren't really annoying. They were just telling the truth. They didn't have the evidence to prove it. Back then, they were annoying. But now the truth is spilled out. The tea is spilled, and now we all know. Now, even though this is good news for like people that want X game like Gears of War, Halo, or we going to PlayStation, it's also bad news because even though like Xbox is going multi-platform, and some will see some Xbox games going to PlayStation or Nintendo Switch, Xbox doesn't have a purpose to be a console or be part of the gaming industry anymore. I mean, because this company contributed in the game industry with very like some gold, like hard hitters, like nostalgic games, like games that defined gaming. And with that losing its purpose, it's scary. All right. Now, sure, it may not look bad, but it really is. Like if you like for someone that's been a fan of Xbox for God knows how long. Okay, it really it's like it's a stab to the heart. Okay, like you feel betrayed after the amount of years you've spent like supporting Microsoft and Xbox as a whole. With all that to go away, to now I know why that there's no point of buying an Xbox and I guess selling all your Xbox merchandise and buying a PlayStation, or I guess switching to Nintendo or switching to PC, depending on what preference you make or you've made to play games in. Now, continuing with the article, Halo on PlayStation would perhaps be the biggest Xbox game to go multi-platform so far, given its association with the console over the years. Last month, tech experts said Halo's move to Unreal Engine 5 would make it easier for developer Halo Studios, that used to be called D43 Industries, to take Xbox flagship first-person shooter multi-platform, including a launch on PS5. These last sentences are pretty interesting, where it says it's too early to make any sort of decision on the next version of Halo, Bloomberg quoted Spencer as saying. As former Xbox boss Peter Moore recently told IGN, Microsoft will be debating whether to bring Halo to PlayStation as we speak. Perhaps a multi-platform release of Halo the Master Chief Collection or even Halo Infinite would be more likely in the short term, with Microsoft yet to indicate when the next Halo game will come out. Whew, yeah, that was a pretty hard pill to swallow for anybody that's a supporter for Microsoft, a supporter for Xbox, and overall just, I guess, reading the article as a whole. So with that being said, with November and December coming to a close for 2024 and the Game Awards that's going to be broadcasted on December 12th, it is most likely that with the Game Awards showcase, we're probably going to be getting some Xbox ports going to PlayStation, and including one that I've been preaching for in order to save the indie game series, and that is Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisps. And I know I've said this like over 50 times. Okay, I have a whole playlist, link in the description. And with this being a I guess, an answer to all the questions asked of whether Xbox is dead, of whether every Xbox exclusive is going to PlayStation. Phil Spencer has answered it with this IGN article. And I guess, in a way, it answers what's the future for Xbox this year, next year, and overall in the future. So with all that being said, even though it's like pretty split, I'm pretty neutral on this one. You know, not only that I have hopes for Ori going to PlayStation, with the answers of also Halo potentially going to PlayStation, but every Xbox exclusive going to PlayStation. And not only will I see my victory of Ori going to PlayStation, we will now be seeing the second ship, unfortunately, for Xbox as a whole. From the original Xbox in 2001 to the Xbox Series X with the 2 GB black hole color that they released like last year, including an Xbox handheld that's going to compete with the Nintendo Switch in the future. And I probably will talk about that in another video. So with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. My journey for Ori going to PlayStation will inevitably become a close. Thank you so much for supporting my YouTube channel, for supporting my movement, I guess, in a way. This is Wolf Dark Gray, proving every single one of you guys wrong that Ori is going to PlayStation. And I'll see you all later. See ya. Pretty sure everybody knows about my story of me wanting to play Ori and the Blind Forest. This has been a somewhat of a silent protest that I've been doing for the past 2 years. I have been praying to my ancestors for 2 years for this game to be finally ported to the PlayStation. And I also bought a $25 PlayStation card just for this moment. Next stop, Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisps for the PlayStation. Of me hoping that Ori goes to the PlayStation. Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisps is gonna be ported to the PlayStation. I have hopes for this. You would know that my entire saga of me hoping for Ori going to the PlayStation started back then. My hopes of Ori going to the PlayStation. Alright, so today is Ori's birthday, and I feel like we can double or triple that once Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisps gets ported to the PlayStation. PlayStation can revive the Ori series. Ori 3 is gonna happen, and maybe there's some possibility for Ori to be on the PlayStation. I still have hopes for that. Of my hopes of Ori going to the PlayStation, I still have hope for Ori going to the PlayStation. My hopes of Ori going to the PlayStation. And lastly, we haven't gotten any news if Ori's gonna be on the PlayStation.